There we go.
There we go. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome back to the Dugout Football Channel, where it's time for another lockdown chat. I'm not joined by one, but I'm joined by two guests today. You'll all know them from the BlueBirdLegend YouTube channel. They do their Premier League predictions, but obviously with the Premier League being off at the moment, they have not got that to do. But joining me today is Paul Morgan and Nathan Morgan. Welcome to the channel. How are you both doing?
We're doing good. Thank you very much for having us, Doug.
Yeah,
no
brilliant.
problem.
Thanks for inviting us on.
You're very, very welcome. You're very, very welcome. So obviously, when I do these chats, the first question I need to ask you is, what have you been doing since lockdown?
Well, I mean, start with you. You've been very busy, haven't you? Doing lots of stuff.
Yeah, well, I think in the first week we were on they locked everything down. I was working for a couple of days, but then soon after that, I've been furloughed. So, last 3 weeks. But it hasn't been a matter of twiddling my thumbs, sitting down watching Netflix all day. No, I've been painting fences, driveways, cutting the grass, cutting conifers. Under strict instructions from the wife as well to clear out the attic. So I've been selling a lot of stuff on eBay. We've been sort of going out for little walks as well each day, just the once mind. Both my parents and my wife's parents as well, they're both at that age over 70, so we've had to sort out their groceries. And yesterday we were at the wife's parents, their allotment. We were watering that as well, weren't we, Nathan? So
yeah, we were.
Been busy. In the time that I have had to spare, I've been catching up on a few games. I've played a little bit of Red Dead Redemption 2. I haven't been playing FIFA or anything like that, but I've actually started playing Football Manager. It's not Championship Manager anymore, is it? Football Manager. This season, so I haven't actually played that since I think it was the 01-02 season, because it used to take over my life. And
it's really
as a grown up, you don't get time for much of that. But I've got a little bit of time on my hands. I sort of was getting into that as well. So yeah,
it's really difficult. It's really difficult, and I'm the same. I've been trying to keep active. I've been taking the dog a walk. I've been walking. I'm a supermarket worker, so I'm the only one in the family that's having to go to work. So that's a bit weird at the moment. But no,
nights there as well, Douglas. Or
I do mainly day to night. So I'm usually on the back shift. But I like that. I like that. Only work on a Saturday morning as well, and then I've got the whole afternoon to myself. So I really enjoy that as well. So obviously, you two are both massive Cardiff City fans, and
ginormous.
It must feel weird not being able to obviously go to the Cardiff City Stadium as well. Let's talk a little bit about your season, because obviously Neil Adams has come in. He's obviously taken over from Neil Warnock. How do you think he's done since he's came in?
Do you want to go first on that one, Dave?
Yeah, personally, I think he's done better than I anticipated, because when, like a lot of Cardiff fans, when he first came in, we were a bit sceptical, because they wanted to go for someone young and with a slightly new style of play, but they sort of went for how we were similarly playing at the moment, which many fans were concerned about, and we thought that we'd start to drift down the table a bit. But he's done better than I thought, especially even though we've been a bit patchy in the last few games. After January, I thought we've been playing really well. We've been playing some good football. Refereeing being questionable, but I'm happy with it. I think he has good potential with the team. Give him the money he wants, and I think we'll do well.
Yeah, I think at the start of the season, we hadn't actually won a match away from home. I think it was
no, we didn't.
30th of November, something like that. I think that was the first victory away against Nottingham Forest. So I think Warnock left around about the 11th of November, and then Harris came in a few days later. He took over. And I think that first month of him taking over, we were playing good football. We were getting results as well. It hadn't transitioned to a sort of different style of play. It's not a massive difference, but it's still very attacking. No messing around at the back, although Cardiff we seem to be playing a little bit more out of the back, but not sort of messing around, sort of, you could say Swansea or Liverpool under Brendan Rodgers when they used to play. Yeah. If they were, they used to play straight out from the back, and if they messed up, he was saying, don't worry about it, because it was all that sort of transitional period. Now, Cardiff aren't at that sort of level of playing at the back, but they have been playing at the back, but getting it forward to the, mainly out to the wingers, and then getting crosses in for the likes of Callum Patterson, who used to play at Hearts. I think you just live outside Edinburgh, don't you, Douglas? So,
yes,
yeah. On the whole, since he's come in, he's done okay. He's done all right. I think expectations from the fans were that Cardiff we're going to bounce straight back up to the Premier League, but you look historically wise, and that doesn't seem to happen that much. I thought we were going to be for a tough season. However, I thought around about this time we would have been maybe in the playoffs, but we're only 2 points outside the playoffs as it is at the moment. So if we get back into the playoffs, then brilliant. But if we're here for another season, then I won't be too disappointed, because
I won't be
championship anyway, and then maybe kick on next season if next season comes along.
Yeah, and is the level of refereeing even worse?
Oh my! Where do we start with it?
Well, go on, Nathan. You can.
Just even with when we were last in the Championship before we got promoted to the Prem, there were some dodgy decisions, dodgy games that we thought maybe they could improve on it. When we got to the Premier League, it's the worst officiating I've ever seen in my life. And then we get relegated back down to the Championship, just as bad. I mean, we've got to have the worst officials in Europe now. There's got to be some degree of like how they have Ofcom with TV and stuff like that. They've got to have some referee monitoring with it, because some of the decisions. I mean, that Chelsea game last season was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. I don't know how they didn't overturn decisions on it, and the thing that disgusted me the most was how Warnock commented on it, and he got a fine for it, which is appalling. But
yeah, I think they have got a very difficult job. They're under so much scrutiny. Introduction in the Premier League, of course, of VAR. That hasn't really worked out too much, but I know in Europe, in Spain, and especially I think in the MLS in America, it works very well. They've got the monitor on the side of the pitch. I don't know if they've been told not to look at the monitor or not. But if they did, then maybe that would help decision making, etc. But at the moment, the referees, they do need help. But some of their decisions have been questionable.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Nathan, your Chelsea video, I obviously sent you that.
You appeared in it.
I couldn't actually believe how the referee missed that.
I don't know, because we missed it at the time as well, didn't we?
Yeah, we sort of down the end of the pitch. It happened in front of the sort of the Grange end, and we're on the side of the pitch more towards the other end, sort of in line with the 18-yard area. So we couldn't, from where we were sat, we couldn't actually see exactly what happened. Fair enough, a goal. And there wasn't too much complaining at the time either from the players. And normally they'd be around the referee and all this sort of thing. But Warnock must have seen it on the sideline and everything. They must have a monitor on the bench there and stuff. But and when we got home and saw it on Match of the Day back, and just couldn't believe it at the time. So
it's one of those decisions where you're just scratching your head and thinking, what was the linesman doing?
But that's just it's all in the past now. We move on. We're back down in the Championship. We may get back up again, and if we do, if it is this season, then maybe we need another season in the Championship before going.
We need it. If
you do get the opportunity, you've got to take it by the scruff of the neck and grasp those opportunities. But whether there's money available, with what's going on at the moment with the virus and everything, and I was reading earlier today there could be a cap on wages in the Championship as well of something like £6,000 a player or something. So it all depends on when we start the season again, or if this one gets concluded, etc. So obviously as you say, you're 2 points outside the playoffs. Who's your player of the season? I'll come to you first, Paul. Who's your player of the season? I think Nathan will probably say this as well. I think Ali Tomlin has done really well. Sort of last couple of seasons he's been out on loan. He's had issues that have been documented, etc. Warnock had him at the start of the season, so he was in and out of the team quite a bit. He couldn't really, keep his place in the side. Then Harris comes in, and he's sort of the main man, and he's really stepped up to the mark. He sort of pulled us back into games and won games in the dying minutes of fixtures. So he's really turned. He's been excellent. He's been keeping himself fit, because I know historically that has been an issue with him. Where was it, Bristol, or when he was in the Premier League? I think he was at Bournemouth. There were issues there. So, but yeah, he's been excellent. Other players, I think Callum Patterson has been good when he's come in as well.
Decent.
Yeah, I really like Patterson as a player. Who else? Defensively, we've been found wanting a little bit, which 2 years ago when we went up to the Premier League, that was the main strength of Cardiff, was the defence. But we struggled a little bit in defence. Well, earlier in the season, it seems to be getting a little bit better, but we have been leaking goals when in the past, we wouldn't have been conceding the goals that we have. But I'm just trying to think other players. Will Vaulks in the past couple of months, Welsh international, has really stepped up to the plate, because Joe Rowles has been out injured, and Rowles was excellent at the start of the year. I think he scored a hat-trick in one of the matches he went out injured, and Vaulks has come in, and in the last month or 2 weeks he's been excellent as well.
Yeah, Nathan, what would be you?
I'd probably say Lee Tomlin, and then Lee Tomlin's just been fantastic for us, as you've obviously touched upon. Joe Rowles at the start of the season obviously impressed me until he got injured. That hat-trick, I believe, against QPR was what really stood out for me, that he was one of the leading Championship midfielders, possibly could push into lower half of the Premier League table as well. And then Will Vaulks has really impressed me in recent weeks as well, with his long throws, his technical ability, his long shots, his celebrations as well. And yeah, that's what I think about it.
Excellent. Now, obviously, there's been discussions between the EFL and the FA when the season's going to return. Now, they've obviously earmarked a date, which is June the 6th. Now, Paul, I'll come to you first. Do you see the season restarting on the 6th of June?
That is the big question, isn't it? If it does restart on the 6th of June, then it's probably going to be behind closed doors.
Yeah.
I don't, the testing that's going on at the moment with the virus and everything, then I should imagine that all the players would have to be tested. And at the moment, in this climate, like NHS staff and key workers should really be getting all that testing, all the tests, etc. So I suppose football in a way is a lot, way down the pecking order. So it'd be nice to be back on the 6th of June, but then you're looking at, they'd have to have a couple of weeks of a mini pre-season perhaps there.
Yeah.
And so I can see it being pushed back maybe to the end of June or the beginning of July. But then the further it gets pushed back, that has massive implications on things like qualifying for Europe, qualifying, FA Cup qualification as well. Or it's just a mess, really, isn't it, football-wise? Could we see it going into August, September even, maybe? But next year, what happens with next season? And then the Euros, which have been put back to 2021.
And the World Cup as well.
World Cup then, the qualification for that. And then you've got the Olympic Games, and there's always football at the Olympics as well. So it's just a mess. If we get to September, October, maybe it'll be... this league will be written off. I hope it doesn't. We need to see a conclusion, especially being a Liverpool fan. That would be a travesty.
Oh, that'd be tragedy, yeah.
But I hope it does get concluded. But I think, as we do prediction videos, I'd say, I don't know, mid-July I go for, I think.
Mid-July, Nathan?
Go on then.
Well, as much as I'd like it to come back on June the 6th, I'm against all games behind closed doors, really, because it's just really a neutral game when it's behind closed doors. You don't have that home and away advantage that you normally see and all that. But realistically, looking at the situation in South Wales, especially at the moment, I cannot see anything until the middle of August. Because if you don't already know, the Cardiff City Stadium is currently a testing facility for the coronavirus, so where you drive through, get tested.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and it's all around there and everything, so I cannot see them being able to reopen the stadium until then. And if it keeps going up, then it's all going to be pushed further and further back. So there has to be a conclusion. So what I think might end up happening is we might have to cancel next season and conclude this one, and then have a long pre-season for next year, do the Euros, the World Cup qualifiers, and the Olympics, and then start afresh in the 2021-2022 campaign.
Yeah, I think it depends, doesn't it? I've just been watching the news a little bit before we went live, and in China they're seeing more new cases, so sort of that bounce back in China where people are coming into the country, and they've had a couple of incidents of sort of community infections as well. Yeah. So that doesn't bode well. So it's I suppose just got to leave it to the government to try and sort out, I suppose, and everybody to self-isolate, all that sort of thing. So
yeah, definitely.
It's just it's a nightmare, isn't it? So.
It is, and obviously. Football is suspended indefinitely up here as well. They've pushed that back to June the 10th, and even I think that's not viable either. So, you could probably see that going into middle of July probably. It's looking ever so likely that we could probably see the season cancelled up here. So, I really hope that doesn't happen. Obviously in England, but they might have to make that choice. Let's go to the Premier League, because obviously you two do Premier League predictions, and always enjoyable videos to do. What have you thought of the season as a whole?
I'll start. I thought it's been quite enjoyable. It's nice to see that we're breaking away from the traditional top six a lot more. So a lot of the lower end of the club, so you got your Leicesters, your Wolves, your Sheffield Uniteds. I've been really impressed with them this season, sort of breaking into the top half as well. And sort of the other, well, not really the other clubs drifting away, but it's nice to see that the standard of football is improving a lot. In a way, glad to see Liverpool finally winning it. We really need a change from your Man City, your Chelsea, also first club in red to win it since 2013 as well.
Yeah.
Continuing the trying to beat Man United with the amount of trophies won, but yes, but I've really enjoyed it this season. Much better than when Man City have just won everything in recent years, getting the record points. A lot more enjoyable than that.
Yeah, Paul, what about you? You enjoyed it?
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, I suppose being a Liverpool fan, you've really enjoyed it this season.
Oh yes.
But I know there have been some people who are saying this is sort of a one-horse race this season. Is Liverpool something like 25 points ahead of Man City at the moment?
25, yeah.
25, yeah. So it's from that perspective, it's all over. But yeah, on the whole, I think I've enjoyed a lot of the matches that we've been watching on the TV and everything. Sheffield United, as you mentioned, Nathan, really impressed with them. Wolves sort of cementing themselves. They did well this season, and I think they are in Europe this season as well. So to be currently sixth in the table, they've done really well. Really impressed with them. Manchester United sort of coming back into things themselves now, aren't they? They're in fifth position, and sort of picking up recently. Is it Fernandes has been very good for them, sort of giving them a new lease of life as well, because I know Nathan doesn't think that much of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
Oh no, I don't think either of us do. But
well, no, we're not really fans. But he's a great guy and everything. I think everybody says that, and but he was found wanting a little bit at Cardiff at that time. So
I remember the season in charge of Cardiff in the Premier League, and he just made some really weird. Actually, that was the season you were in red.
Don't get me started on that.
I've never known Cardiff City to be red before. Just weird.
Yeah, that was going back to the Premier League this season as a whole. Yeah, doing well. Aston Villa, who probably now the nearest club to us, struggling at the moment. I think they will go down. I'm looking at their fixtures a little bit earlier today and what they've got left. Hopefully they'll conclude them. I think they got Liverpool in those last, 10 fixtures, and they got some tough away matches. So I think they've gone this season. Norwich look to be gone as well, even though footballing wise they've done all right. You're just not ruthless enough in front of goal to get those the vital points, and joining them I don't know. Bournemouth look precarious at the moment. I thought earlier in the season Brighton, but they seem to be grinding out draws all over the place. West Ham, I think they got a good win recently as well. That was against, was that at home? Yeah, Southampton. So that was a big victory for them. But Norwich, Villa, and you look at it, the likes of Bournemouth, West Ham or Brighton, I think Watford should be all right.
Yeah. So I've got to ask you, player of the season? Who would you go for? Nathan?
Go on. Well, we did a video on our team of the season recently.
We did the team of the season, but it's hard to say which one. I'd probably give it to Sadio Mane, personally, with the way he's been playing, the amount of assists he's been getting, the goals. Sadio Mane for me.
Sadio Mane, Paul?
Yeah.
I think Virgil van Dijk has been amazing this season. We watched him last season at the Cardiff City Stadium, and I haven't, in a long time, I haven't seen a defender in real life play. He's just so calm. Try to put him under pressure, and it just made everything look so easy. I'm not sure how that comes across onto the TV and everything, but he's been superb. Him along with Kevin De Bruyne. De Bruyne has been phenomenal. He's class, but I'd give it to Virgil van Dijk.
Virgil van Dijk, interesting.
Yeah.
You know what? Any other season, I would give it to Kevin De Bruyne. I think De Bruyne has had a fantastic.
Oh, he's class. Yeah.
But for me, it has to be either Mane or Trent Alexander-Arnold for me.
Yeah, Trent, because
he's been good,
instrumental with all those the assists and the amount of chances he creates from the right back position as well.
Yeah. So obviously that's player of the season. Flop of the season. Nathan, what do you think?
Oh, right, now you have to my thinking hat on here.
I probably go for most players who play for Aston Villa, really, with the amount of money that they spent. I mean, if you're spending upwards of 100 million, then you've got I'd say you should be about 10th, really, in the Burnley position at the moment. But with just the state of what's happened with them, you've got to give it to most players with Villa. But I can't really single out anyone that's overly been a flop this season, because most of the signings that's come in, you could maybe say Nicolas Pepe as an exception, but there hasn't really been one major flop of the season. But if I've got to name one player, either one from Aston Villa or Nicolas Pepe.
Okay, Paul?
I think maybe, who's the West Ham striker?
Haller,
yeah.
No, I wouldn't say so.
No, you don't think so? No.
No, he's been in and around there scoring, really.
Yeah, I think Dele Alli at the start of the season, there was a lot put on him whether he'd come back, but he's actually in recent months he's sort of come in, stepped up to the plate, really. So yes, who do you think then, Douglas?
Joe Linton.
Oh yeah, that's.
I think he's been poor. I think he's been poor. I think he was bought because he's Brazilian. And I think because of his goals in the Bundesliga for Hoffenheim, I would say Joe Linton for me.
Yeah, I agree on that one a little bit. And with the way that with the wingers they have as well, like with the likes of Almiron and Saint-Maximin as well, he should really be getting the goals in from all the crosses being played in. I mean, Almiron's got really good playmaker attributes, but how has it happened?
I mean, we problem with internet, but no, like I was saying, Joe Linton for me, I think he scored one goal in the Premier League this season.
Yeah, I think
balling for a striker.
So I Newcastle are definitely calling for a striker. Just before I ask you next question, Newcastle's takeover looks like it's going to be completed in the nearest future. They'll be glad to see the back of Mike Ashley, won't they?
Oh yeah.
I think so, yeah, especially with, I think he was going to keep his stores open as well, and everything that's gone on since pretty much since he's been in charge. Those Magpie fans aren't fans really of the main man up there. So, I think the sooner they get rid of him and get somebody in, decent who they need, who they invest in the playing staff up there. Because remember a time when, they were competing at the upper echelons of the Premier League, and I think were they one of the seasons they were so far ahead of Man United, and then Manchester United clawed it back and they overtook them then in the closing stages. But it's a fascinating club up there in the northeast. Great fan base, as everyone seems to say. But I think they'll be glad to see the back of him.
I think so.
Yeah.
This is a really hard one. Signing of the season.
Premier League wise.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a tricky one. For me, it'd probably have to be Bruno Fernandes.
Okay.
At the moment, with the way he's changed around Man United, because I reckon if they wouldn't have signed him, you're looking 8th or 9th, where about Arsenal are, because they wouldn't have that player, that's the quality in midfield that could really push Man United on. And he's really controlling it. So, yeah, Bruno Fernandes for me.
Okay.
I agree. He's been brilliant. He's really turned it around for Man United, hasn't he? So, probably the same for me there.
It's a really hard one.
What about yourself, Douglas? Yeah.
For me, Dean Henderson, because I think
Quality.
barring
the
Liverpool game, I think he's been absolutely outstanding for Sheffield United, and I think he's the reason that they are where they are, because there've been a couple of games this season where he has kept them in it.
Yeah, I think he wants to return to Manchester United as well, doesn't he? After his loan spell ends this season. So, but he's got De Gea in front of him there. Maybe another season there in Sheffield would probably do him good.
Yeah, definitely. Right, I've got some other questions now. There was one question I got on DM which I think is really controversial, but I'm gonna have to ask it anyway.
Okay.
Do you think if VAR had happened last season, Cardiff would have more points and have stayed in the Premier League? Come to Nathan first.
I know I'm a Cardiff fan and everything, but I'm gonna say yes, because I got a feeling if VAR would have ruled out that last goal, Kurt Zouma, I think, Rudiger would have been sent off for that disgusting challenge on Zohore. Then we would have got 3 points in that game, which means we would have built momentum. And not only that, we would have been awarded 2 penalties at Burnley as well, which means we would have got another 6 points. And then I think there was another controversial game earlier in the season where we could have possibly snatched a point as well. Then I think we would have had enough to stay up, and with some of Brighton's decisions as well. I think it would have been Brighton going down. So I think, yes, we definitely would have stayed up.
I agree with you. I think there was a lot of decisions against Cardiff City last season that should have gone the way of Cardiff. And like you say, Rudiger against Zohore, that was a red card. You should have had a couple of penalties, at Burnley. And in all honesty, that win at Old Trafford would have been much more important had you, actually got those points. Paul, what do you think? Do you think Cardiff would have stayed in the Premier League if VAR?
I try and look at it objectively, because the decisions go in against the other teams as well, the opponents, because I think there was a couple like Bamba was offside in one of them, perhaps.
Brighton.
And other matches. But overall, I think they say normally, what goes round comes around, or, it sort of evens itself out. But at the time in that Premier League campaign last year, a lot of decisions seemed to go against us. Whether VAR would have been in, maybe we would have just stayed up by the skin of our teeth perhaps. So yes, I think we just still because we would have had decisions as well. That we had some good decisions, but overall, I think we would have just stayed up.
Yeah, definitely. What are your expectations for Cardiff next season? Do you think maybe promotion? Do you think maybe playoffs? What do you think, Paul? I'll come to you first with that one.
I don't think we're going to get promoted this season, but I think we'll give it a good go if everything gets back. If it's behind closed doors, then we might struggle a little bit at home with the way the crowd gets behind the team at the Cardiff City Stadium on times, etc. And we've got a good away support. But for next season, I think it will be in the Championship again. It depends on how much money as well Tan puts into the club. I think contract-wise, I don't think many of the top stars are due with their contracts to leave. Are they, Nathan? I can't remember.
I don't think so, no.
But so we should, another season in the Championship, we should be a lot stronger next season. So I can see us definitely getting into the playoffs next season, depending on who comes down as well. But if it's the likes of Norwich, Villa and one another, I think we should be okay there. if Leeds and it looks like West Brom are going up at the moment, then they would be very strong anyway next season. So I think it'll probably suit Cardiff to stay in the division. I can see us getting to the playoffs at least next year. Whether we get automatics, I don't think so. I think it'll be probably a solid playoff berth.
Okay, Nathan, what about you?
Yeah, I agree with you. Definitely in the Championship next season. Cannot see us going up at all. I think
we'll give it a good go. But
yeah, we'll give it a go and get into the playoffs.
To the playoffs, but whether I don't know if we could. We over 3 games in those, it's very tough in the playoffs. You've got the 2 semi-finals and then the final. To get past those 2 matches, it is very difficult as we've seen in the past.
It is.
Sorry, Nathan.
That's all right. Personally, I'd like to stay in the Championship for next season anyway. But really, our minimum expectations should be playoffs. That's depending on what funding we get in the summer, really, and where we can improve. But we could try for automatics. I don't think it'll happen with the way that the squad is at the moment, because we have a standout player, but we don't have one that's over thing for the Championship. But I reckon about 4th in the playoffs, and hopefully if we get all right teams around us, then we might be able to push through, because we don't really have a good record in the playoffs. So we just got to hope.
Yeah, I know.
I think the last time. Sorry, Douglas. Yeah, last time we did any good in the playoffs was when we came up from the first division up into the Championship. And that was in around about, was it 2003, 2004, something like that, against QP. But yeah, our record hadn't been great. I remember going to Wembley to watch us play Blackpool, and
horrendous.
I think we were up twice in our player, but paid too. Mr. What's his name, Nathan? He plays for QPR now. What's his
Mackie?
name? No. Great free kick on him.
Charlie Adam.
He
plays for Reading, actually.
Reading.
Seen him at the Majesty.
Somebody in white hoops. So.
He's aged really badly, hasn't he, Charlie Adam? Oh, dearie me. Now, obviously, with Wales qualifying for the Euros, congratulations to that, and I really hope Scotland do it, but I can't see it. How far do you think Wales could go, and who do you think will win Euro 2021? Nathan first for that one.
I reckon we could. I think we can get out of our group because we've got Italy, Turkey, and Switzerland in there as well. Switzerland, good side, but if we can, hopefully we can get a draw against Italy, but I can definitely see them top in the group. A win against Turkey would be nice, even though they do have a lot of good players like Suyuncu, Cengiz Ünder as well, impresses me a lot. And then if we can get a good result against Switzerland as well, then I think we could possibly make it out a second in the group and make it through the round of 16, maybe reach the quarters, but I'd be happy with getting out the group. That would be bare minimum, I'd say.
Okay. Paul, what about you?
Yeah, I think it is a tough group there. Italy and Switzerland, very good. I think we can get a good result against Turkey. It will be very tough. Yeah. And it's sort of spread all around Europe. We've got 2 matches away in Azerbaijan, the other one's in Rome. So it's going to be tough. But yeah, if we can get out of the group, that'd be fantastic. I'm not sure if something like the 3rd best team as well, they qualify.
Depends on how many points you've got. It is.
Yeah, I think so. Even if we finish 3rd, there is a pathway into the knockout stages. So yeah, if we can get out of the group, then fantastic. Who I think is going to win the Euros? I think France have got an excellent chance. Their squad is absolutely phenomenal. We have 2 or 3 teams. Germany, yeah, they're always strong. Spain, pretty good team as well. But I'd probably go either between France and Germany. I'd go Germany. They're always
Germany.
Yeah, and England.
No.
When they get out of the group, they did well in the last World Cup though, didn't they? So.
Yeah, same as it was for them. Nathan, who do you think will win it?
I'm going to say France, and I think they're going to go on a few years dominance. So I can see them actually winning the next World Cup as well. Saying that.
Ooh, that is some prediction, but we'll
leave our
Yeah, Douglas, as we were saying about the when we were on holiday, was it last year or the year before with the World Cup? We were
Oh yeah.
a semi-final. We were on the deck watching the England-Croatia match, and we were actually there with a few Scottish fans, so they were willing on Croatia. We were willing on Croatia as well. So
Yeah.
we had a few drinks after that night.
Yeah, I think we were just leaving. Oh, where were we leaving at that time? We were leaving Saint-Tropez in France when that all happened. So.
Yeah.
That was a good night.
There. We were in a bit of a minority, the Welsh and the Scottish fans there, but I think the Celts more the happiest that evening. So.
Oh, much happy.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Paul, Nathan, it's an absolute pleasure to have a chat with you, and thank you very much for taking your time out to come and chat with me. Where can we find you on your socials, Paul?
Socials, you can follow me at BlueBirdLegend on Twitter, at BlueBirdLegend on Instagram as well, and the YouTube channel, which is just search for BlueBirdLegend, and make sure you subscribe.
And please subscribe, because they always do a fantastic job with the Premier League predictions. Very, very entertaining as well. And especially with me this season, getting 5 perfect scores in 1 week, which was absolutely crazy. I never do that. So.
Yeah, I think there's I'm in contact with a guy who actually does predictions as well on the channel, and he does a sort of a running. I think he's keeping a tally of everyone. I think you were up there, James. I think myself and Nathan as well, but you were in sort of first, second, or third place.
Yeah.
And I think he keeps a tally of like whoscored.com, that website. I don't know if you use that website at all. That's a pretty good website to use for stats and everything. But we were above them and other sort of publications as well. So.
Yeah. Nathan, where can we find you on your socials?
It is at NWM Whitey on Twitter. Usually use that for most of my stuff. And then on YouTube, NWM, should be able to find it on the search recommendations. And NWM_streams with a Z on Twitch as well, which hopefully will be starting up very soon, when I sort a few final things out, because I still have technical issues with it. So.
Well, I'll leave Paul and Nathan's YouTube, Instagram, Twitter,
Fantastic.
and in the description below, and please go and follow them. 2 fantastic people, and they do a really good job on their YouTubes, and obviously with Nathan with Cardiff City vlogs as well, which are fantastic, and obviously with
Can't
Paul
wait for them to resume
with the Premier League predictions. But guys, please go and follow them, please go subscribe to them, and thank you very much for watching this video. And if you do like my content, then please hit that subscribe button. And I'll be back very, very soon with some more videos. Actually, watch out. There will be an SPFL rant. I am not forgetting about that. There will be an SPFL rant. So look forward to that. But thank you very much for watching. And I'll speak to you later. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye for now.
Thank you.